Now you listen here, brother.
You're watching Cole the Cornstar. Remember, if you enjoy our content and you want to help support the channel, the best thing you can do is hit the thumbs up button.
From about 5:30 this morning to 8 o'clock, they were saying 80% chance of rain. You looked at the radar, it looked like it was gonna get us. So I figured no use filling the sprayer, we better just wait it out. Now it's still cloudy, but looking at the radar, I think it's gonna be safe to go.
Got the real disc out here. A few of the baskets are full of dirt, mud, whatever you want to call it. It's all hardened. So I'm gonna take the power washer, put the 0-degree tip in, blast all the mud out, and then we'll pull it inside. Got a small handful of things to do, and then this should be done and ready for fall.
Hey there, everybody. Looks like you guys are watching Cooper play in the mud. He's gonna be all splattery. I'll let you guys get back to watching Cooper.
That right there is one of my least favorite jobs ever, just because that dirt gets so hard. Trying to get in there and knock it all out, it's not easy. Wait about another 365 days and we'll do it again. Let's start with the easy stuff. Got it washed, so that was I guess the hardest part. So we're missing a couple of these spikes, so I went and picked up 2 more. So we'll put those on, and then let's replace this bearing. 1 down, let's do another one. 2 down, 1 more to go. Missing 1 right here. Next time I go to the shop, I'll pick up another one. So the last thing I gotta do here is on these baskets, there's bearings. This one's shot. If I pick up on it.
Hey dude, that was weird. He doesn't say too much. Now, is it just me, or does trash just accumulate so fast? Now that's more like it. Clean, almost clean, 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 clean. Getting there. Let's get this trash picked up. Let's get these bricks thrown in this hole. Let's smooth out this dirt. Once we get that done, we got about 100,000 other things to do. I have a little baby ridge right here, so I brought in some extra dirt. I'll need to do this part by hand. It's looking good though.
This spring, when I was running this, I turned on a hill that was grass and it was wet, and I slid and I hit our basket here that holds rocks, whatever. So it broke the bolts that holds this on. So I cut 2 new pieces of ready rod, and then we'll stick this through, bolt that on, and then just chuck everything over, make sure we hit everything, and this should be ready to go for this fall. Just found a bolt right here that's missing a nut. Took it out, went and found a nut that fits it. Let's keep looking things over. As I'm going along, I'm just checking, make sure all these bolts look good as they go along, make sure these are tight, checking down here, make sure all the scrapers are distanced well, and then I'm checking all the pins, make sure all the bolts have nuts on them, because you don't want a bolt to fall out and then a catastrophe happens. We still need to get that tire fixed. We're waiting on our tire guy, put a new tube in it, and then this tractor and rail disc should be ready for fall.
Just utilizing the Thunder Creek fuel trailer from Nessa, because their other diesel barrels are empty, and this is almost out. How'd this happen? Worked. See this pile? Doesn't belong there. It belongs in the swimming pool. In the middle of picking up my rocks, guess who showed up? Bill Blister Graham.
Just in time, just when the work's done.
If you guys are new to the channel and you don't know who this is Bill from AgLeader. He helps us with all our GPS stuff and all of our sprayers, combines, tractors. What are we doing today?
We're gonna look over the planter, we're gonna look over the corn, we're gonna look over the beans, and just see how we did this spring.
Sounds like a plan to me. Hey, those are some nice sunglasses.
Yeah, I got a discount using the link in the description.
Smart guy. Hey, we got more people. So we got the whole crew out here today. We're gonna go look at some corn, make sure everything was working okay with the planter. We were having a couple little minor hiccups along the way, so we'll be able to address those for next year, but you live and you learn. Getting our steps in today. You're the planter specialist, right?
Yeah, I am. Not brothers, although I look more like him than his real brother does. But we both like planters.
That OSHA approved? Looks like we're taking the van. 9370 minivan. You guys comfortable back there?
Yeah, I've never been more comfortable.
In case you guys are wondering, there's no AC in this thing. And we're back. Somebody forgot tools. Got everything?
You done forgetting things?
Put on your seatbelts! Why is everybody yelling?
Are we there yet?
Is anyone hungry?
Yes.
We're not stopping.
Ow. Oh no!
Like clowns in a clown car.
What are we looking for, Brett?
Corn that's not here. I mean, it might be here, but it didn't grow into a plant.
Brett here is the expert, so he's gonna address a few things that we might be having issues with. Jacob, what do you have here?
I've got the iPad with the Agfinity app on here. While Brett's digging in the dirt here, I'm gonna look at the data that our in-command display logs.
You wanna summarize, Bill?
You know what he said? All the data's are on the iPads.
All the data's. So the seed is placed proper depth. You can see it sprouted just a little bit. I've seen a lot of that this year. This is probably cold shock. Planted early, especially when we've got no-till conditions, a lot of residue cover. The soil, isn't as dark on top, so it heats up slower. Planting conditions were great. Allowed people to plant early, but we had a cold, wet May. I'm guessing that's what got that seed. Let's keep digging and see what else we see.
We were just looking at some areas that had no seeds come up. Now we're gonna look at some of these plants that are just a little bit shorter than the others.
So this is way short. So we're gonna check the depth here, try to figure out, is this a genetic problem? Was this maybe shallow planted, or was there some residue next to the seed? So now I'm gonna measure from where that seed was to the top of the plant. I see 2 3/4. Planting deeper gives me more of a blanket from short term or temporary lows. Longer term though, it's colder down there.
Darker soil warms up faster, so those seeds germinated sooner, where that shorter plant next to them sat under that residue and stayed cold and didn't sprout. Didn't come up as soon as the other ones, which is why it's shorter than the plants next to it.
So we just dug up a plant. It's much smaller than neighboring plants, but there's a pile of residue on top. Just made it a little bit slower for that soil to warm up.
You hungry?
Yeah. Hey Bill, what about that little guy?
That little guy? I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
Bill? What happened here?
Measurements are important.
This particular field had some manure applied to it by neighbors, so we did a little bit of vertical tillage on this to incorporate that. We got a little spot over the hill that is no-till corn on corn, so we're gonna have a side-by-side comparison of VT versus no-till.
We're looking in the field here. We're trying to figure out where we were no-tilling and then where Cole reeled us. So he's gonna look on our downforce maps and he'll be able to see where our downforce changed in that area. So right here, water pushed all this here and we got all the floods, but this is from our Calmer choppers. You can see how fine it is. It's pretty crazy. It's July and this corn is already producing ears and it's falling on the ground. I think we're gonna have to get the combine out soon and pick this.
I'd probably get the combine out pretty soon. That doesn't look good. It looks moldy and gross. It's money. That's money laying on the ground.
Does it look like them?
Yeah, looks like you're doing stuff.
Came to a part of the field that wasn't looking great again. Dug up a plant that was there just behind, and what we found was, again, the seed was right at that right depth. Really no signs of residue in the trench, but the seed is right where it's supposed to be. Then I dug up a neighboring spot, which the seed was again right at that 2-inch depth, but it didn't germinate at all. So what I think happened here is if you look at this area, there's definitely something bringing in residue. Could be wind, could be water runoff, but there's a thicker matter residue here than what we've got in the neighboring rows that look healthier. May was already cold and wet when this stuff was planted April 24th. So it's trying to come up at that time, and if it stays cold and wet, we get these no germs or those weak plants.
We're trying to figure out why. There's 2 rows right here that look pretty good, and then on both sides, it looks horrible. We think what happened is these 2 rows of the planter were 1/2 an inch shallower than the rest of them, so these ones were just too cold, didn't come up, covered with too much residue. But these ones being shallower, got enough heat, came right out of the ground. Kind of interesting how that works. What are you guys doing?
Sampling, checking nutrient content.
Eat corn.
Tastes like sweet corn.
Yep.
Actually does taste like sweet corn.
A little bit.
It's really not that bad.
I get a 7.
So I was gonna say 6.5. We're close though. This one's a little more bitter.
You want to find a small one, small roots, break it off, peel that off, and if you bite it, you just want to pull the middle out like that, so you have no middle, just like sweet corn.
I feel like that movie with the focus, focus, focus. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just threw out my arm.
Hey, see, this one tastes like sweet corn.
Don't eat it.
What do you think we need to improve about this particular field?
When you're planting, make sure that the residue managers, those row cleaners, are moving enough residue. So what I think I would do here, especially with the no-till corn on corn, we've got all that residue, pay close attention to the soil temperature. Make sure conditions are right before we plant. Planting April 24th. That's about the same time I planted. We got a lot of cold, wet rain in May. Having that corn sit in the ground a long time with this residue mat, it's just not gonna warm up and come out very quick.
So as we're walking along here, we have a really nice stand right here, but then it just goes into really thin. We're gonna do some investigating. Hey, what's wrong with the field? It's a funny looking bird. You ever seen like one like that before?
I've seen one. I have one just like it. I think they're in season.
Since we have the iPad here, we can pull back the planter data when we went across this part of the field. We're basically contributing this spot to throttling back, and then we lost hydraulic pressure, so the planter wasn't putting the force that it was supposed supposed to into the ground, and that resulted in this. Just for a little spot right here. And then once we throttled back up and had the hydraulic power, we were good. A couple small things to change for next year, but shouldn't be too bad at all. Hey Brett, what about this corn? Think there might be any compaction issues here? I really want to know how they grow that.
Lots of nitrogen.
Bill.
Yeah.
Where's your booster seat?
Left in the back.
Can I drive?
When you're 16. Hey, where are your pit vipers?
Do you know you can save by using the link in the description?
15%.
15%?
Yeah.
Now you listen here, brother. The cream rises to the top.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday!
So we looked at a cornfield that had vertical tillage. We looked at one that was no-till corn on corn. This one was bean ground last year. Any yield predictions?
300.
256.
227.
This field looks really nice. Not really any issues here, at least not any that we can see.